It's been 3 weeks since the eye of Hurricane Maria crossed over Puerto Rico. 3 weeks, and there are still parts of the island that have not had contact with FEMA yet. 3 weeks. For most people, that has meant no power, and most still don't have running water. Hospitals and clinics are hit hard, as the New York Times reports. The daughter of one man who died because he couldn't receive oxygen treatment told the paper, because of the electricity situation, a lot of people died and are still dying. 40% of the island still lacks running water because of the blackout, which still affects 85% of the island. As a result, many people are bathing in streams and receiving water from huge tanks. Never a good idea. And this is after 3 weeks in the most powerful nation on earth. This is unacceptable. Our response to Hurricane Maria and other people of Puerto Rico is a national and international embarrassment and tragedy. Our own citizens in our own Caribbean colonies of Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, and we have not helped them all that we can. I spoke to Chicago firefighters yesterday who have been in Puerto Rico for about a week, and they tell me it is worse than we are being told. They told me yesterday that they are still making contacts in towns where people come up to me and say, "Thank God it's FEMA. You're finally here." Only to be told, "No, we're not FEMA. We're from Chicago. We're firefighters." And they embrace and cry with gratitude. Last week, a group of my colleagues and I got together. We represent large Puerto Rican communities here on the mainland in Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, Ohio, and Florida. All of us have been contacted by our constituents who are in desperate need to get their loved ones back and out of Puerto Rico. After 3 weeks, they have run out of patience and are not interested in excuses in our congressional districts. They want their parents, they want their tia with cancer, they want their cousins on dialysis off the island, period, now. They want a plane ticket to get the hell out. Our communities are ready. Lorain, Ohio, Hartford, Boston, Orlando, New York, Chicago, we're all ready, but the problem is transportation. If you have money, connections, or internet access, then you probably can find a flight out. I know this because I was in Puerto Rico 2 weeks ago and I saw the Land Rovers, the Jaguars, parked at the private airports in San Juan, because if you have the money, you already put your loved ones on a flight out of Dodge. The individuals from FEMA have been doing a great job given the constraints. But I think now FEMA and the military resources should focus on the task of evacuating the elderly, the sick, and the vulnerable from the island. Look, this is the way FEMA works. They say, well, we only take on tasks that the governor asks us to take on. And the governor is not likely to go to FEMA to ask them to get thousands and thousands of his constituents off the island. Number one, it's a difficult request for any local official to make. Captains of industry and leaders on the island want to make sure that there are Puerto Rican workers there to rebuild and, of course, to continue to buy their products. I get that. But at the same captains, those same captains of industry and political leaders, guess what? I bet you most of them have already got their loved ones off the island. Number two, we know the governor has to be extremely careful how he asks for anything, because we all know the president doesn't take criticism very well, or even the hint of criticism. The governor doesn't want to get blackballed by the president, who might go off on a Twitter rant at any moment unless he's praised and stroked every step of the way. But our Puerto Rican constituents don't vote for governor of Puerto Rico. They vote for us, for DeLauro, for Crowley, for McGovern, for Espaillat, for Marcy Kaptur, and they want us to help them get their families out of danger's way. They are demanding help getting their family members out, and I think FEMA and the U.S. military can do the job. They just need the orders from the people in charge. Let's be clear. If anyone wants to leave Puerto Rico, they should have our help in doing so. For thousands, it's a question of life and death and survival. That is what is needed to help Puerto Rico. We don't need the president tossing paper towels to storm victims like he was tossing a ball to a dog, or maybe tossing peanuts to squirrels in the park. We need airplanes, ships, and helicopters to get the people the hell out. Otherwise, it'll be worse than let them in cake. It's let them die.